Good morning, Senators. Thank you for this opportunity. I've been speaking out on the need for national bail reform since last summer, and I've done so in collaboration with Mayor Jeff Fawcett of Brandon, Mayor Sherilyn Knox of Portage Prairie, and Councillor Kathy Valentino of the Association of Manitoba Municipalities, who you've just heard from. Our support for bail reform isn't about blindly being tough on crime. It's a rational public policy response to obvious threats, destructive patterns, and repeated outcomes. When I became mayor in 2022, I promised to help our police service do more to target repeat offenders. And I did so on the advice of a senior criminologist and several other veterans of criminal, social, and public policy. Once I was elected, the province of Manitoba immediately acted on one of my proposals, helping to relaunch a joint Winnipeg Police Service and RCMP warrant unit, targeting violent suspects and offenders. Since this unit was operational in May 2023, there has been a clear pattern in their work. In 2024, 82% of arrests involved an offender on bail, probation, or parole. In 2025, 80% of their arrests involved an offender on bail, probation, or parole. Bail breaches were the most common violation in both years. We're not a big province, but this team has been making an arrest an average of roughly once a day. 20% of all arrestees were arrested more than once by the same unit. As mayor, I've also served on our police board to help hire a new chief of police early in 2025. Chief Gene Bowers is delivering more proactive policing, community collaboration, and intelligence-driven enforcement than we've seen in years. And Chief Bowers created a new bail compliance unit in December of 2025, just weeks after I testified to your counterparts in the House of Commons. And here's the problem. As long as habitual offenders are repeatedly re-released into the community, there is a practical limit to how effective police and prosecutors and prisons can be in preventing crime. To protect the presumption of innocence, criminals who've been proven guilty over and over again are released with light conditions. Why are we so surprised then when these same people go on to stab or shoot or steal or assault or exploit again when freely given yet another chance to do so? And when individuals repeatedly ignore bail or probation conditions, I know many judges currently feel that the law forces them to ignore that history when assigning new bail conditions. It's a one-way social contract. Society must presume every individual is innocent on a specific charge, but judges may not feel empowered to protect the innocent from repeat offenders in the meantime. Despite advanced techniques and intensive collaboration to monitor those on bail, our bail compliance unit is experiencing the same challenges as the warrant unit. In the first 2.5 months, Winnipeg's bail unit completed 922 compliance or warranted person checks. 36% of the checks found sufficient cause for another arrest or arrest warrant. Statistics don't capture just how futile this can feel when police arrest the same individuals over and over and over. So, in the same spirit as my weekly reoffender bulletins last fall, I asked our police service if they could scrub details from some examples to illustrate the point. They gave me 5 cases, and I've submitted 4 of them in writing to you for brevity's sake, but here's the 5th, and it's just one example of what the Winnipeg Police Service is encountering. In that recent case, an individual known to be a prolific property crime offender was already the subject of 2 separate probation orders. A bail compliance check found the offender in breach of several court-imposed conditions, so another arrest warrant was issued. The offender began actively evading police, triggering further investigation. Our property crime unit worked with the bail compliance unit and found evidence linking the offender to an active retail theft ring, which involved assaults on multiple security guards. Numerous new charges were then laid against the offender for new breaches and a new retail theft-related set of offenses. And yet, this same offender was successfully arrested by the bail compliance unit and then re-released on bail multiple times since it launched in December of 2025. The current federal government was elected on a promise to enact a bail reform bill focused on a few particular crimes. When I and other mayors called for a broader approach, Minister Sean Fraser was open-minded, and I'm grateful for his open-mindedness and his action. The government's legislation responds to that shared input. The right to be presumed innocent on a particular charge is a critical principle, but the Charter also allows for reasonable limits in order to protect peace and order. We call these issues public safety issues for a reason. Safety of the public is the ultimate goal, and it is reasonable to restore clear judicial authority to protect the public in cases when an individual poses a clear threat to our safety. Thank you.
Thank you,